Hello, hello, hello. I am trying to see where everything has gone. As soon as I came on, everything started to speak to me. First day back, and I get this. Give me a second here. Okay, so it does. Hello, Felicia. It looks like I'm only. I'm glad you see me. So it looks like I'm only on Facebook. It doesn't look like I'm anywhere else. My camera just dropped down. Um, but I wanted to stop in today and do a little update and a little conversation. And just let me bring up on my phone here so I can see what we have happening. I know we're starting out with like a little shit show going on here. And it's hold on. It's not letting me bring up the live on YouTube. And I think it's something I did earlier. So if I can connect it over to YouTube, I will. If not, I guess this will be for Facebook only today. I did just upload a video on YouTube, so the weekly energy update is up and it is available on YouTube right now. So that one is for the last little bit of March. It feels like it has been forever since I have been in and been on a live video. I can't stay too long. I can only sit here for so long, and before I have to get up and move about and get up and moving. So, but hello. Hi, everyone who's joining in. I'm just watching the little watch come up and just giving people time to come in. Hello, my Lisa and Lisa and Karen. Hello. Yeah, Lisa. Pleasant occasion. So I was just about to clean some sinks because that's, the limitations to what I can do some days. And I just heard drop all that, go in, connect with everyone, get back into your group and into your world for a few moments and spend some time in here. So, so this is where I am. And as I said, I did just post a new energy update, and that one is available on YouTube. You can go watch that. I'm not live on YouTube, which kind of sucks. That's where I was hoping to also get in there as well. But I am here, and I'm trying to bring up on my phone because it's hard for me to see all the comments. Happy Friday, Rebecca, Sheba. Hello, Lorene. Hello. Nice to be back. Nice to be in. I did post a few videos in between my journey. For those who are unaware of where I went and what's been happening and why there was all kinds of beautiful videos that were created and put together, and cards of my cards. That was all. Thank you to Lisa for doing that. Lisa Richard of Loving Energy Recharge. She creates all those little videos for me and puts all those out for me. And she takes bits and pieces of my work and shares it out. But for those who are wondering where I have been, what's been going on, I didn't just disappear on purpose. My last video that I actually recorded live was with Matthew, and that was such a beautiful, beautiful live. I so enjoyed every single moment of being live with Matthew Stapley the day that we did our live. It was a good way to kind of end. It was right before I went for surgery. So where I have been is I was in for spinal fusion surgery. So for years, I have been, thank you. For years, I have been struggling with severe back pain, leg pain, going through all kinds of ups and downs, riding waves, done all kinds of treatments, and self-healing, of course, which did help drastically. And it did make a big difference to the amount of surgery I would have had to have. And so all these things all led me to down the road to having spinal fusion surgery. Now, in the fall, or in the summer, actually last summer in August, I got stung by a wasp. And when I got stung by the wasp, I swear it was like one of the most horrific experiences of my life, because I have an autoimmune condition. It attacked the weakest part of my body, so it attacked my spine. So it became like a double whammy. It almost wiped me out. Like it was horrendous. The pain was unbearable, but it became like the blessing in disguise that the wasp led me to being able to get finally in for surgery. And I was very fortunate to have surgery at the new Alberta Surgical Group, and that was incredible, because they don't sick it's not for treating sickness, it is for doing repair work. And that was such a amazing place to be able to go and have this surgery. So January the 22nd, I underwent a spinal fusion. There was a few things that didn't go quite as planned, and it was a massive experience for myself and life changing, very life changing for me. Now, what has come out of that was that I have none of the old pain left in my legs and in my body, in my lower body. Finally have feeling in my feet. I used to be able to walk outside in the snow on the steps and not really feel the cold. And then I'm like, I run out and not run, I didn't really run. I walk outside and I stepped on the snow and I'm like, that's cold. So I have feeling in my feet. I have feeling in my lower legs. All that old pain is gone. And what I really realized through the whole experience was how exhausted I was. How exhausted I was. And I'm still healing. I can't twist, turn, bend. That's for 3 months. So I have until April the 22nd before my 3 month mark of my date of my surgery to when I'm allowed to start to but bend over, buckle over. And if I do happen to by mistake, your mindset, your habits, and how we move is just so habitual. But if I do happen to bend over, I get like these crazy shooting pains. So everything is still reconnecting. So some days my mind is not even fully working right. Everything is still reconnecting. The whole nervous system, the way my body was actually existing. And I really want to share this because so many people struggle with chronic pain. The way that my body was actually existing was as if I was in, like, it's fight or flight, right? It's as if you're being like under your biggest attack and living in your body's in like a fear state, because pain is so unbearable and it's never ending, that it's continual. So it is just survival mode. You're just getting by. You're just doing what you need to do, doing the necessities, and it takes its toll on people. And it's really real. Pain is real, right? And it took its toll on me. And it wasn't until the surgery and in the surgery and an experience in the surgery, which I do share a little bit of on my other YouTube channel. I did a podcast last week, and that podcast is on the She Is More Than Existing podcast channel on YouTube, where you can hear I speak a little bit about the experience. But basically, is you don't realize how much of life you have been chasing, and how much of trying to keep up, trying to be enough, trying to do enough, trying, that you spend your life doing. And in just never giving up, never giving up on my health, and never quitting, never just settling, just and pushing on and pushing on and pushing on, that it took its toll. And the surgery opened, it was like opening up a treasure chest. And I'm actually taller now. I actually got my full height back. So I'm as tall as I used to be. It's because it's in that sacral area. And so it opened up that part of the spine, and it gave me back, it gave me back height. But in opening that, it also opened up a lot of flow of energy. So where energy was just trickling through my body, now this energy was like in overflow, right? It's just this overflow and flood of energy. And I found myself one day, I had to laugh at myself because I said a word that I never ever use. And it was swearing, and it's not a word that I use or want to and I was watching something, and I'm like, why is that person being such a And I'm like, and instantly I'm like, where did that come from? That's not even how I would speak. But everything began to rise for me. So this healing journey, and why I didn't instantly come back in and start sharing my whole experience, and then sharing what I have been through and sharing all of this, is, I tend to have always been probably oversharing in life, and I really needed this experience and this time for myself. So am I back fully yet? No. Back on occasion, back doing what I can, back with, very limited time spent with clients. But it's a realization of how we exist in rundown, exhausted states, just getting by, survival mode, so much in our lives. You got to go, Elisa. Bye. And so it's how we have to exist, right? And we do what we need to do. So we're just existing in a limited way of being. And in this opportunity to step back, I felt so guilty in the beginning. I felt this rush, and I felt myself trying to rush the healing. Like, I need to go back to work. I need to get back in. I'm needed. I'm needed. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Honestly, you're not. You're not missing nothing. There's nothing that you need to be doing. Your healing is number one. And so I really wanted to share that part of it, because so many people get so caught up in getting better to get back to the way things used to be. But the way things used to be is the things that caused all of the things within the body. And even though I've worked through so much of it, you don't realize how much is buried within us. And so even though your mind has worked on things, your your body, your muscle memory, so this is somatic, still holds those memories. So you respond, and you react. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between what that thought is of, oh, is this really real? It's just, it's going, right? And so we're responding. It's like, if we're in fight or flight, if we feel that need, we need to go, fawn, freeze, we're like, oh my God, I got to get going. I got to go do this. But when you can't move, when you physically can't move, and you're trapped in that body, and you have to stay with that body, it sure teaches you a whole lot about how vulnerable our physical life is, how vulnerable our whole life is, and that we only got this one body. We have this one body, we have this one human life. Our soul will go on, it will run on. Yes, Lisa, get going. You got somewhere to be as well today. Thank you for being here. So you got this one physical body, this one human self, and it's our job to really care for this self. And it's our job to nurture this self. And it's our job to care for this. And it wasn't put here for us to give the best of ourselves fully out, and not to give back to ourselves, not to care for ourselves. And one of the hardest things that we have, that it is for us to do, is to say yes to ourselves. It's so hard for us to say yes to ourselves. It's so hard for us to say, I need to do this for me. And that was in my podcast. If you haven't listened to that podcast, probably go listen to it, because it explains all of this a little bit more. And I just want to give a little bit of bleep before I talk about the rest of the energy that we have happening, and sharing some of that is one thing that came out of the surgery after some complications, and really truly that struggle, I I was really letting go in the surgery, and I felt myself letting go. Who's the snoring in the background? That's my Sid. Can you see her? She got all of her blankets tore down. You can see her head. That's my struggling to breathe dog, Sid, that you hear snoring. She's famous Sid. And so I felt myself really in an experience of leaving Earth. Like, I want to go home, just like, let me go, let me go, let me go. I'm tired. I was so tired. And so being put under, it's that battle to even come back. And it was an experience of where I just heard the voice, of course, I'm a channel, hearing that voice just saying, like, you got to go back. And I say, yeah, I got to go back for my daughter. I got to go back for this. I got to go back for that. And it was wrong answer, wrong answer. Why do you really need to return? Why do you need to get back into your body and back into your life and back into living? And the answer was because I need me. I need me. And I need to be able to live. And I need to know what it's like to live. And I need to know joy. And I need to know the things that, I exist in and experiencing through helping others and to be able to be there for others. But I need to be able to experience that within myself because the key in all of the answer of being able to self-discover and to really truly get the gist of what it is to more than exist within our lives is to is our will. It's built in our will. And I realized how strong that will was that I had to when the image was that I would want to be here for my daughter. I want to do the best to help people. I want to do the best. I want to be able to create and do and be there for my partner, for my husband, for all of these people. But there's a key point in our lives of where when we're so exhausted and we're so worn down, of where we have to say to ourselves, I need to be here for me. I need me. I need me. And so that best parts of yourself that you give out, the best parts of yourself that you neglect, that you ignore, it's this turning point of where we start to really consider that self. How long ago did we put her in the closet? Or do we even know who that version of that self is? Right? Do we even know that version? And so bringing it forth, it so all ties into this energy that we have happening right now. And most people they don't experience this stuff. A lot of people don't experience this, but this has been a massive 20 something year journey of this awakening and writing these books and sharing these experiences and being a part of it. So, on the other side of 20 years of living in pain is the possibility of however many years of finding discovering joy. When I wrote More Than Existing, I said I'm finding joy and happiness no matter the cost. Well, it cost us everything. It cost us everything we can afford to lose, right? And so the way back and on the way back is then of collecting back. We can't collect back the time. We can't get back the time, but we can start to create memories and we can start to include ourselves in the things that we're excited about, the things that we want to do in life. And some people automatically do that. And but who are we doing that for? And so my message this morning that I shared on YouTube, that I channeled this morning was if I were able to be myself, who would I be? Here's the key. Who is that self? Who is that self? We spend so much time away from ourselves that when we have to be with ourselves. So when I was trapped in this little body, I could hear myself complaining. I could hear myself mad. I could hear myself going on about nobody cares. I'm sitting here all alone. I wasn't all alone. I had my mother, and then I had my friend Lisa, and of course my husband was here when he could be, my daughter. But it was like every little thought that is a way for us to be able to be angry, hurt, disappointed, feeling alone, guilting, shaming ourselves and others, all appears in our thoughts. And it all comes. And when I couldn't escape my not being able to escape myself was I learned so much more about me and having to be kind to myself and having to be gentle to myself when you're sitting on this chair to be able to be in a shower and you're raw and you're naked and you've got a handheld thing and somebody else is having to wash your body because you can't wash your own body, and you're just sitting there and you're looking at your physical body, and especially in your 50s, it's humbling. It's humility. And I always say humility can be our greatest teacher. And when humility is teaching us, if we try to jump up and we try to get up and out of the circumstances that we're in so fast, then we can't stay long enough to hear the whispers. We can't stay long enough. We're not staying long enough to hear the voice of grace. to hear the power that is speaking to us, to hear the divine that is speaking to us, to be able to feel it, sense it, know it. And in that moment, such gratitude had to be cultivated. And learning to cultivate gratitude and being able to sit in gratitude was something that was a part of the package of kindness, I guess. And as we exist in a world now where we're seeing a lot of things kind of breaking and falling apart, and we're seeing the awakening of the shadow, which has to kind of explode, right? It has to explode. It has to reveal what's behind the shadow, so that there can be this light, but also the sense of the soul. So we're in a very big, powerful, energetic time within our lifetimes of that we get to experience. And if you don't study energy or look at astrology or look at any of those things, then you may be wondering, why do I feel this way? How come I'm grumpy? How come things are going? How come I feel this way? Why is this coming back up for me? Why is this here again? And all of those things are all existing in this energy. So my surgery all existed in the energetic time of when whatever would have happened in my life, say back years ago, it finally was coming to an end, based on my natal chart, based on my human design, based on my gene keys, based on my authentic thumbprint in this world and in this life. And it's happening for many of us. So we have eclipse season. We have a lunar eclipse coming. We have a solar eclipse coming. We have the full moon happening, coming up on the 25th. We have Mercury retrograde hitting on April Fool's Day on the 1st. So on my birthday, we're going right in, which is also, all this is happening around the Easter season. The 8th, we have a full, on the 8th, I think it is, of April, we have a full solar eclipse, right? We have that full eclipse happening. We have so many things, but the essence of the shadow is so that the shadow can then be mirror, or the soul and the shadow can really mirror together, so that we can see our imperfections are not really a problem for us. Our imperfections are a part of us, and some of our greatest gifts is hidden in the imperfections. And there's just so many powerful moving elements that is happening right now for us. And I want to be able to come in and share a little bit of that with you and be able to communicate that, but also to be able to talk a little bit about where I've been and what's been going on, and why I haven't been here. And because I've said a big hell yes to taking the time away to do what I need to do. And I was so apologetic for it in the very first month. And I realized I was working so hard to get well, to get better, so that I could get back to work. So I could get back to the things that I want to do. And of course, I'm spending as much time with my little Sid, my little dog, because she is not doing very well. Um, and so when we start to learn the power of saying, I matter, and I really matter, is that we start to recognize, what am I seeking? So, if I could be that best version of myself, what would that be? If I could be myself, what is that? And I always say there's a whole cluster of emotions that we are never taught to exist in, because the whole world has taught us and programmed us to respond and grow in and through fear stories. We are motivated by fear instead of being motivated by faith, instead of being taught to have faith in ourselves, to think for ourselves, to listen to our bodies, to really listen. What is my body telling me? What is it speaking to me? What is it that I need to know about, right? Why is this anxiety here right now? What is it? What is this anxiety? What is this thing that I've labeled? What is this pain? What is this hurt? And we've been so taught back in our days, back in the day, that we had to, work through the pain, never quit, just keep going. If you just keep going, the pain will disappear. No, if you just keep going and you just keep working through the pain, you will destroy the parts of your body you're not getting back. And so it's not about keep going. It's not about push on and push through. It's about stopping, pausing, reflecting, being kinder to self. The kinder we are to ourselves, the nicer we are to ourselves, the nicer and kinder we are to other people, because that becomes the reflection. And when we reflect that on ourselves, when we let that fully integrate within us, we then also reflect it out. This little light, right? This little light of mine that sits in here, when it shines and it shines out, it fills a room, right? That's us all. It all fills a room. But what is in that light, right? What are we lighting up? Who are we being? And so it's not about, as we move forward, that we keep pushing on, we push on, we push on. It's that we stop. And when we have that mob energy that's going on, is that we have to really truly stop and just ask ourselves, who's even listening? We can't even hear in the chaos and in the clutter. And when you're in so much pain, you can't even think, right? You just can't even think. And when you have so much hurt and you have so much anger and you have so much of everything that it's consuming, and then you're running on primal instinct of fight or flight, is that you then respond to that energy in retaliation. So the greatest enemy that you create is the enemy that you create within yourself. And then everything else around you becomes the enemy. Is times changing? Of course, times are changing. But that sense of being able to step back and take a deeper look on what really matters, what's the most important. I tell you, there's so much hurt that's released from this little capsule of mine, that of opening up into this pain story and having this surgery, because it's not a fix. It gives me a new quality of life, but it come at a cost. So having parts of your vertebrae shaved, and having rods and pins and screws and spacers put in your spine, it it gives you it's just, there's that part that gives you a new lease on life. um and I'm not the only person to ever have this done. But spiritually, as I sit to write about this, all of this other communication begins to speak to me. And so as we look at this mentality that we have of just like shouting, screaming, yelling, what's screaming inside of us, and if our pain is screaming at us, if everything is screaming inside of you, why are you looking outside of you for the solution that needs to be resolved inside? That calmer state. So what I call it is your parenting thought. Everything of, I wish my parents had done this. I wish my parents were this. And I wish, well, you're now the grown ass adult. You have to be the parent. You have to be the parenting thought. So when I watch a mob mentality and it's screaming and it's yelling, but nothing is getting resolved, it's just causing more chaos. How do we get to answers? It's the powerful conviction of proper articulation, of finding the voice, the energy, the truth within yourself, that stops and just says, oh, I really have to think about that. We really need to look at that. And so it's something that stops us in our tracks. And that's what we have in this energy right now. We have a whole lot of energy that is here to stop us in our tracks. And it's stopping us in our tracks for many reasons. As we're in a fire season, sorry, I gotta kind of just stand for a minute here. I gotta try to get my feet closer to the ground, because I can't stay much longer. 30 minutes, I'm telling you, I run on 30-minute times that I can sit, and then that's the end of sitting. But this energy is stopping us in our tracks, so that when we get ready to go into go time again, that we're pretty sure about who's walking into our future. And remembering this, that no one else can ever open the keys, the doors to your future. What your future has for you can't be opened by anyone or anything else. The only one who can stop it from being open, though, is yourself. The only thing that keeps us, but when we look into the reflection of what we think somebody else is living, and you think, oh, I want that, I need that, that's how come I don't have that, how come I'm not there, then there's a cat climbing up my arm, so I'm trying to push her back down. Then you're looking into the mirror reflection of somebody else's dreams and somebody else's lives, and trying to see your face in there, trying to place yourself in there, anyone's life. But if you only look into you and look into your life, and you only see you, and you only see that my happiness, my joy exists in me, not making myself the enemy, by me not being so hard on myself, by me learning that power of compassion, by me creating that parenting thought. How would I love to be treated? I in my message this morning that I put on YouTube was, I said, imagine that little girl who comes out, or that little boy. So imagine they're in their little frilly little dress, and or they're in their Superman costume, and they got to go just to everyday school, but they're all dressed up, and it's maybe the middle of winter, and they're so proud. They get all dressed, and inside they're feeling so happy, they're feeling over the moon, they're so excited, and they put on that little dress, and they just walk out, and all they want is for you to say, oh my God, you look so beautiful. But instead you go, what are you wearing? And where do you think you're going in that? Or the Superman little boy wants, or girl wants you to say, oh my God, I see you, you're so powerful, right? And so in that experience, there is an opportunity that the world has sucked the joy. The world has spent a lifetime, you know, programming and conditioning to suck the joy out of those experiences and out of those moments. So when that little girl, little boy comes out, and you see them, you're like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. That dress is just so stunning. Did you dress yourself? And they're like, yeah, I did. So they're so over the moon. Well, that energy that they're feeling, that's energy. That feeling they're feeling, that's an energetic thread. It is a connection. It's connecting to their divinity, to their divine, to their soul, to their innate ability. It is starting to cultivate and create something inside of themselves, to live being excited and thrilled about their own experiences, about what they can do. It's teaching them, it's guiding them. And so then the parent just says, I'm sorry, you're not going anywhere looking like that. So you might as well take that off. It's winter, you're not wearing that, or that's ridiculous. There comes the deflating thought, right? And so we just start to deflate. We start to deflate, and we start to shrink. And when we shrink, then we start to create the persona. We start to put the mask on. I don't like dresses anyway. Superheroes, they're stupid. That's dumb. I don't like that. So you start to wear what others want you to wear. You start to be what others want you to be, because that's the safest route. But is it really the safest? Or is it really the unsafest? And the safe is what we're hiding, where we believe we have to be the ones to protect that little girl, to protect that little boy. And I can talk about shadow work forever, and it will never go out of date, because it's so deeply ingrained. So if we have that little girl, and you come out and say, my God, that looks so good, so proud of you, like fist pump, way to go, you dressed yourself. Now, how about we just put on a pair of leggings with that? Just so that your legs don't get cold, and when you get to where you're going, take the leggings off. You can still keep your tights on. How about we just put a little jacket over that, and you'll be just great. You'll be just fine. Like yesterday, my granddaughter went to her ballet class, and she comes out and she's got her ballet dress on, and she's got a purple big bow in her head, and she's got sparkly cowboy boots on. And then she agreed she would wear the little jean jacket over the top of her ballet dress. But inside of the cowboy boots was the ballet shoes, already on her feet. She's prepped. She's ready to go. We could have taken every bit of that joy out of that moment for her. And she's strutting, and you can see what is called innate confidence. That's our spirit. That's what's cultivating inside of us, so that we have a spirit, so that we are alive. And we're living from shadow because our spirit has been broken. And on a world scale, our spirit has been broken. It has been taken from us. We've been taught to not think for ourselves. We've been taught to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, to just listen to the programming, listen to the conditioning, don't dare question anything, instead of cultivating a sense of true confidence, true pride, true sense of joy, so that we can live and be brighter, so that we can be a bright light, so that we can not have to have fake it until we make it, false confidence, false knowing, that we can look into our own reflection so we don't have to look anywhere else, that we can be that those little kids now as grown adults can be the same parent, the same parenting thought, and encourage and inspire ourselves to be that. So that's what I became to myself when I made it back, when I absolutely decided I want to live and I want to live a healthy life. That means I'm going to have to really listen to my doctor, listen to my physiotherapist, listen to my body. So there's things that I absolutely cannot do. There's things that are just not going to happen. The one thing that I'm going to like high five to is that I can never do a crunch ever again in my life. I can never, and I love exercising, but I never have to do a crunch ever again in my life because I can't. It is physically impossible because my spine is fused. High five to that. But I have to find new ways. I have to find ways that you can do things differently. So, one of the things that we can do differently is we can stop letting the programmed old thoughts think into words the things that we should be saying that are nicer, kinder, more generous, so that we start to not exist in just survival, because you'd be surprised how deep your pain story goes. And so that we can start to begin to thrive in different ways. But it is a lot of work. It does take work. It takes work because we have to start paying attention and not just running on autopilot. It's amazing how much of our lives we run on autopilot. It's amazing how much we repeat the things that we hated the most. It's amazing how we treat ourselves the way that we absolutely didn't want to be treated, but we have expectations for other people to treat us a certain way, but we don't treat ourselves that way. So these are all energetic threads and thoughts that are coming up, that are visible, that we have happening, and for us to really pay attention to. But that's what I got for you today. That's what they wanted me to share with you today. So sharing that with you, something to think about. So when we go to say, why are you wearing that? When you look at yourself and you put on something that makes you feel really, really good and you feel happy, and then you look in the mirror and you go, oh, I'm just so fat, or I'm just this, or I'm just that. Think of the parenting thought. Think of the little girl. If you bought it and it made you feel good and you had such joy in the moment of when you bought it, but the moment the reflection, you looked in the reflection, what you did was you created, the pixels created memories, and you started to remember the words, the language that someone else would have said to you before. And then you stop loving the things that you would have loved. You stop liking the things that you would have liked. And that includes yourself. Pay attention. Change those and become the parenting thought in your life. That's what I got for you today. I send you so, so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And I'll see you all soon. But go check out my YouTube, because this is not on YouTube today. Go check out my YouTube video on the Corrie Thorne Cameron. I think it comes up psychic medium, spiritual healer. I'm not sure, or more than existing, but it's Corrie Thorne Cameron. Or go to She Is More Than Existing. And the She Is More Than Existing is a whole list of my podcast. And my podcasts are only on YouTube. I have not put them anywhere else, but I did just recently put a new podcast up as well. Go check them out. And so much for you to be able to listen to. And I'm just so excited about some of the new things that will be coming in the future. So you can also join me Monday night. I am doing a live mediumship group, Connection to Spirit, on Monday evening. Registration is still open. I've limited it to a small number. It's not a massive group. So you can still sign up, and it is Monday evening at 6 or 6:30. I can't remember. But yeah, you can still register for that as well. Much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.